Only thing in this world who can be control is your state of mind. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control your health. You might get a brain hemorrhage. You might get hit by a loss. One of the very few things in the world you have genuine control of is your state of mind. You decide that you're a disciplined person. You decide if you're a happy person. You decide if you're a depressed person. These are things that in real time you can affect in your brain. This is all you can control on earth. If you don't control that, then you're just a feather in the wind and life's gonna blow you around. You might land somewhere good. Nobody knows the state of mind is able to control. If you can't wake up and say, today I'm making some money, and actually try your very, very best and actually stay dedicated to that task. Hey Sticks, what do you think of Andrew Tate? Tell me your opinion in the comments. I don't think that men should ever consider how happy they are. I think that for a man, the paradigm of analyzing yourself based on your mood is an incorrect way to approach life. I don't think it makes it feminine. I just don't think it makes you competitive. I feel like as a man, life is ultra competitive and you're constantly competing against other men, whether you realize it or not. The girl you want, other men want. If you get her, it's a competition. The dollar you want, other men want. If you get it, it's a competition. The status you want, other men want. If you get it, you won the competition. Man is hyper-competitive, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to compete at the highest echelons, at the highest levels. And in my experience, people who could be at the highest levels are not people who have any concern or care for how they feel. On the day, you are a man with duties, you're a man with responsibilities. You must perform, you have things. You must do, and you must do them. Regardless of how you feel, whether you feel happy or you feel sad, you must, so considering it's not going to affect your actions, why even take it into consideration at all? Why does it matter? I don't look at myself and go, how do I be happy? I look at myself and go, how do I succeed and do everything I want to do, become competent and be successful? That's what I'm worried about, achieving my goals. Daily happiness is a byproduct, it's a side piece. But if you're going to wake up and go, I want to be happy, well, yeah, to a degree it's feminine. It's also very childish because only women and children are so obsessed with happiness. But it doesn't make you competitive, because if you're concerned with being happy, that means you're only going to perform when you feel like it. That means you can't compete out the men who perform every day regardless. And that's why as a man you need to be building a mindset that makes you as competitive as possible. And I think that considering happiness as a concept, as an ideal, as an idea in and of itself is a fact. It's a bad idea. I don't even cross my mind if I'm happy. It doesn't even cross my mind I got to you. It's having stoicisms, not feeling emotions. It's feeling the emotion and going, okay, why is this happening? How much does this really matter? What's the most intelligent move on the chessboard? I'm not even that good at chess. Stoicism is the ability to process emotions or feedback, and that's what you need to be learned as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to turn. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy, so is depression, so is rage, so is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like people talk like, Bruce Lee says be like war, and people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water, right? So if I'm enraged, it's like water behind a dam. You just got to put the dam in place, and you go get the turbo, the hydroelectric put in. Don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere. The dangerous thing about overly emotional men is that they're dangerous. They're genuinely dangerous. This is what's crazy. All these people who talk about toxic masculinity and how bad it is for men to be traditionally masculine. A traditionally masculine man does things he doesn't feel like doing because it is his duty to do that. He charges into the burning building because it is his duty, not because he feels like it, because it is his duty. We're now teaching the new generation of men that they don't have duty, and they can just act on their feelings and act how they feel, and they don't have to act as a man should do. You know what happens when you get men who just act how they feel? You get school shooters. You get violence. Men who do not control their emotions are dangerous. If you find a man who is stoic, he's not going to hurt people. He's going to sit and think about his actions very carefully. He needs to be a good man who protects for it and provides for his family. You find a man who just acts out on impulse and does whatever he feels like, you're going to find a dangerous man sitting here telling men to cry more and act with their feelings, that it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc. and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world, absolutely not only wrong. So when they talk about toxic masculinity, they have it completely inverse on its head, completely nutty wrong. We need to be teaching Stoicism, maybe teaching young men to understand that the world is very, very difficult. It's hard to be a man. You're going to feel bad sometimes. You just suck it up and perform anyway. I'll just sit there and cry your eyes out and blame other people. And when bad things happens, there is an epidemic of cowardice, man. Men are cowards. We have an epidemic of cowardice. Everybody is so afraid. It's on the other side of fear that you're going to garner the respect of other individuals. You have to do things that they're afraid to do, meaning, most likely you are also afraid. I've done a bunch of Hails Afraid 87 times before I go on the ringing cage. It's scary, right? I lived a scary life, but by going through all of that, I am not respected. You have to learn to face your fear. I'm not saying not be afraid, because that's not brave. If you do something you're not afraid, you'll not have to be afraid and do it anyway. That's what courage is. So I'm not saying you can be as scared as you want, but you still have to go. They are trying to convince you that you should act how you feel. You should show more of your feelings. If you feel this way, you should show it. If you want to cry, cry. Look, I have no problem with guys crying. Sometimes guys cry, right? My dad died. I cried. I've cried once in 10 years, but it's not a default emotion for me. Sometimes you cry, right? What I'm saying is the reason they're trying to bring out emotionality in you is because most of the time you don't feel like even the things you're supposed to do. But the true masculine frame throughout history was doing the things they didn't want to do, but they knew they had to do because they had honor and duty. That's what honor and duty means. Do you think the men on the Titanic wanted to stay on the Titanic? No. We're men, we have to stay, we're scared, but we must. It's our duty to let the women and children on the lifeboats. This is masculine duty. When you remove self-control from men, not only do you get emasculating weak men, but you'll also get is very dangerous man, because the world at large is trying to tell you, just be more in touch with your feelings, and everything's going to be fine. Men also have an innate desire, one for conquest, and two, we have a biological response. We are very predispositioned to anger. You look at all these school shooters, and these are men who can't control their emotions. That's all they are. They have no self-control, and then they're going to do dangerous. A good man controls himself. I have absolute self-control. If I decide to smash your face in, it was a very conscious decision, nothing to do with the fact I was angry. You understand, emotional control is absolutely and utterly important. As a man now, I'm not saying become a stoic dork, have no personality, be a boring. I'm not saying that you need to understand as a man. There are certain principles under which you act regardless of how you feel. I can wake up in a terrible mood, to pin, wake up sad, I can ache, I can have a busy day, stressed, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood. I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do with my day, because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. So a lot of you guys out here are acting like fools because you feel like acting like fools. And what I'm going to say to you is because you think there's something wrong with you and go, I don't. I lack motivation, you hear this one. I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the news flash, neither did I, and I still did it. So now what you're gonna say? Now you have no excuse, right? Oh, you're scared to get in the ring. So was I. I still did it. I'm scared to get the cage. Being a man is about not feeling things, about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. And I'm tired of hearing guys mess you about how they feel. I don't feel motivate, I don't feel. Leave the feelings to the girls, right? That's what they do. We're men of action. We get things done, so the world got built, all of it. All the men who built the skyscrapers felt scared. They did it. Anyway, you need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel and start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing. You have a series of emotions you live with. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians we are unspiritual when we're under the control of ordinary impulses, and that's the way so many people are today. They just let their feelings run their lives. They feel like telling somebody off, they just tell them all. They feel like being depressed, and they go around all depressed. But friends, we cannot just act on these emotional impulses and expect to have any kind of victory in our lives. Feelings can get us into trouble, and throughout life, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to lose your temper. You're going to get up some mornings and feel like being depressed at times. You'll get caught in traffic and feel like being impatient, feel like getting upset. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and do what we know is right and not just follow our feelings around. I can feel my emotions rising, but I made a decision not to get on board. Just because you can feel those emotions doesn't mean you have to get on board. When you feel like saying something that you know you shouldn't say, no, don't get on board. Things aren't going your way and you kind of feel like being discouraged. No, you've got to learn to discipline the negative feelings and keep a good attitude. Anyway, it's when we do the hard things in life, that's when God is developing our character. Somebody offends us, and we just don't let it bother us. We just take the high road. That's when we're really maturing, but the problem today is too many people are not willing to pay the price to walk in victory. They don't want to be inconvenienced. They just want to take the easy way out. The easiest thing to do is to just let our flesh have its way. If you want to grow up and experience God's best, it's going to take some hard work. It's hard to keep a good attitude and be patient when nothing's going your way. Sometimes it's going to make us uncomfortable, but I read where there are two kinds of pain in life. One is the pain of discipline, the other is the pain of regret. And if we live a lazy, undisciplined life and we act on these emotional impulses, we're going to make very poor choices that we regret later on. I mean, how many times have we acted on our emotions and said something that we know we shouldn't say, and later on it ends up hurting us in that relationship? Friends, the pain of discipline is minuscule compared to the pain of regret. No discipline at the time is pleasant, but later on, it's going to bring you a harvest of great things. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, and I can tell you later on you're going to have some major regrets. If you allow yourself to just go around being upset, impatient, and stressed out later on, it's going to catch up to you. Later on, it's going to affect your health if you just are losing your morals and you just do whatever you feel like doing well. It may give you some pleasure at the time, but later on it's going to cost you a very heavy price. See, God will only promote us as high as our character will take us, and God is not going to put you in a position of greater leadership if you are not treating the people in your life right now with respect and honor. If you're being lazy and not being faithful to do what you know you should be doing, then that's going to keep you stagnant. That's going to keep you from growing. If you had a problem with your temper 10 years ago, and you have that same exact problem today, I can tell you that's keeping you from God's best if you would just do your part and grow up a little bit and quit being ruled by your feelings. If you do that, that's when God will begin to increase you if you're having difficult times today, instead of getting all bent out of shape. You need to see it as an opportunity to grow. God may be trying to do a work in you. If you find yourself always being around people that offend you, and you're always getting your feelings hurt, well, there's a good chance that God is trying to teach you to quit being so touchy. If you find yourself around people that are always rubbing you the wrong way, always irritating you, God is trying to teach you how to love the unlovely. He's trying to teach you a little bit about patience. If you just ever change these kids, that's why I'm always upset. Now let me tell you a secret. God is not going to change your children until you first allow Him to change yourself, and instead look inside and allow God to do a work in you. Then God will change the circumstances, then He'll change those. Other people, as long as we're not passing the test, then we're going to have to take it over and over again in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Don't be surprised at the fiery trial that you're going through. It is only to test your quality. You see, when we go through times of pressure, it shows us what we're really made of. It shows us areas we need to improve. And unless we learn how to rule over our emotions, make the right choices, keep a good attitude, then we're not going to get out of that situation. God loves you too much to just leave you alone. He sees your potential. He is going to constantly be pushing you and testing you and giving you opportunities to improve the next time. Somebody does you wrong, you're tempted to get upset and lose your cool. No, you need to see that as an opportunity to grow. If you'll keep a good attitude and do the right thing, you know what, you will pass the test and God will promote. You don't get on board with your feelings. See, we cannot control every circumstance in life, but we can control how we respond to those circumstances. When you feel your emotions rising up, instead of just praying, God, get me out of this situation, God, change everything. No, you need to learn to pray. God, help me to remain calm. Help me to rule over these emotions. God wants us to be stable. He wants us to remain consistent in the way we do it is to learn, to live beyond our feelings. We got to discipline these negative emotions. You do not have to get all upset just because things don't go your way. Make your flesh stay calm. Pass that test. Just walk away. Be the bigger person. Don't allow other people to steal your joy. Keep yourself calm. It's a decision that you have to make. God is not going to make it for you. You've got to discipline yourself. The next time you're tempted to just follow your feelings, you remember God has promised that it is not too difficult for you to handle. You can overcome. You can withstand it. That's what I want you to see today. Just when you have the emotion, you do not have to get on board. When we act on these emotional impulses, it causes us to make poor choices that we're going to regret later on. If you like the video, do like and subscribe the channel so that you cannot miss any new video. Thank you for watching. Hope it will help you out.